Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Capital Talk. Today we have two very special guests. These two guests, they are raising voice for Pakistanis, they are fighting for Pakistanis, but certainly they are not Pakistani by nationality. As you know that we have always raised questions about the drone attacks in Pakistan, and today our special guests, they are also going to raise some questions about these drone attacks in which hundreds of innocent civilians lost their lives, but certainly we would like to get some answers from them. I will introduce my guests. We have Jemima Khan, and she is very well known personality in Pakistan, and she is here today as a documentary maker and the European edition editor of the famous magazine Vanity Fair. And we have Mr. Clive Smith. He is a lawyer. He belongs to Reprieve, and he is a very famous human rights activist. Thank you very much for joining our show. Jemima, special thanks to you because this is the first time that you are giving an interview to a Pakistani TV show. I would like to know that what is the purpose of your visit to Pakistan? Are you here to support Imran Khan or oppose drone attacks?
Imran Khan doesn't need my support.
Okay.
So I'm here very specifically to raise the issue and try and highlight the issue of the illegality of drone strikes, something that we don't, I think in the West, there's some misunderstanding about the ramifications of drone strikes. I think that we're led to believe that it's the most accurate form of counter-insurgency or counter-terrorism. And I think from what we've seen on this trip, where we've met victims of drone strikes, I think what we can safely say is they're not as accurate as we're led to believe. We've seen photographs of dead women and children. And then there's another aspect to the trip, which is to highlight the fact that not only do they not always target militants, but they also create militants or militancy.
Okay. Mr. Clive Smith, you have always opposed the drone attacks. Some people in Pakistan, they say that these drone attacks are maybe part of a war between Muslims and the West. But you are not Muslim and you are from the West. So why you are opposing the drone attacks?
Well, I think human rights are for human beings, and it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or anyone else, you have human rights. And it horrifies me when I see some of the policies I see around the world. I'm American as well as British, and some of the things we've done over the last 10 years are contrary to your interests, obviously as Pakistanis, because we're killing innocent people. But they're contrary to my interests as an American too. I think they're monumentally counterproductive. I think I inflicted on you last time I was here my book about Guantanamo Bay. And what we did in Guantanamo was meant to make the world safer. It didn't make the world safer. I'm afraid what it did was say to the world that we as Americans were being hypocrites about justice and the rule of law. And that's just stupid. It's not just wrong, it's stupid. So that's the main reason I'm here, and I love coming to Pakistan. I like you people.
Thank you very much. US State Department legal advisor Harold Koch, he stated some time back that drone strikes were legal because of the right of self-defense. What do you say?
Well, I mean, look, the legal pretext they use is what they call hot pursuit, that if someone is attacking you in Afghanistan and they run across the border and are trying to hide across the border, you can pursue them. But of course, that was the pretext used for Osama bin Laden. And I think hot pursuit becomes very cold pursuit if some chap maybe's been in Abbottabad for 6 years. That's not hot pursuit. Those legal pretexts are just that, they're pretexts. We as Americans are not at war with Pakistan. So what we're doing here is the equivalent. You'll recall Cambodia during the Vietnam War, when President Nixon secretly allowed the bombing of Cambodia. But that was illegal, and it created a huge scandal. And what we're doing here in Pakistan is equally illegal. No question about it.
It's illegal?
Totally.
Jemima, according to some reports, you are making a documentary against drone attacks. Tell us some details.
Well, that's what this trip's partly about. I mean, I was invited by Clive and by Reprieve to come and help with their campaign, but also it's a research trip which I want to make a documentary which shows both sides of drone warfare. I'd like to have it shown in America, because that's where you really need to change people's opinions. I'd like to challenge the CIA statement that there are zero non-militant deaths resulting from drone strikes. But I'd also like to show both ends, the PlayStation warfare in, say, Nevada, where you have these young boys operating operating drones, a bit like my children play PlayStation, and they too suffer. I mean, actually, Clive and I were discussing that there's higher rates of what do you call it? Post-traumatic
stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder amongst those so-called soldiers than the standard combatants. So they too are. It has ramifications there as well. But I think it's very important to show the other end. So what happens on the ground here, and that's another reason why we've been trying to encourage as many journalists and photographers to collect information and to collect information as evidence of what is happening on the ground in Waziristan. So we've seen parts of missiles have been brought to us with serial numbers showing very clearly that these are from America, even though some it's officially denied, the covert procedures are officially denied. We've got photographs, we've got video footage of drones, in surveillance. We've heard from children how being under constant 24-hour surveillance, how unsettling, how disturbing that is. They don't know at any point, when they're just being watched or when they'll be attacked. And I think we were also discussing how it's a bit like for our grandparents. I remember my mother used to talk about the doodle bugs in the world during the war. She used to hear it, and that was one of the most traumatic memories for her about the war, is hearing the doodle bugs going over the top. And it's living under that constantly when you're not even at war with America. And Pakistan's actually meant to be America's ally.
So making a good documentary.
Sorry, yes, I got diverted. I was meant to be telling you about the documentary.
It's going to be a long
for making good. Yes, for making a
Lucky
good documentary.
I'm not editing it.
Don't worry. For making a good documentary, you need your foot on the ground in Waziristan. How will you do that?
No, we need people to bring us photographs, footage. We need to talk to the victims of drones, families of the victims of drone strikes. Whether we can actually, I mean, as you know, it's difficult to get into Waziristan, so time will tell on that. You actually would quite like to plan a trip, wouldn't you?
Go. We had this jirga yesterday where a number of people came down from Waziristan, and that's a great start because Jemima gets to interview a bunch of them. But they invited me up there. I would love to go up there. Next time I come to Pakistan, I plan to go, if they'll let me. I suppose the military.
And is it correct that you provided them some cameras? Video cameras?
I will let Clive answer that because I thought it was meant to be a covert procedure.
Well, look, this is the deal. We're interested in transparency. What we want to do is make sure the truth gets out there. Now, right now, I'll say on behalf of the CIA, they have every interest in having no transparency and in covering up the truth. So what we want is for people to provide us with different things. We've got a fantastic art show here in town at the moment that's showing bits of the drone missiles, so that people have gathered up these pieces of missile, and that's what proves what's happening. And you can look on the missiles and you can see the serial number, and then we can trace it back to the corporation that made it, and then we can sue them. Now, similarly with photographs, there are a couple of people, Noor Bayram and Karim Khan, who have been taking pictures, and they're heroes, frankly, because they get threatened for that. But I would like to say to all the people from Waziristan, bring us your pictures. I don't know how you do it. I don't care how you do it. I just want to see them. Because that's the way that we're going to get the message out to the West, to show them the reality.
Yeah.
So I can help you on that issue. क्लाइव स्मिथ आपको अपील कर रहे हैं शुमाली वज़ीरिस्तान और जनूबी वज़ीरिस्तान के लोगों को कि अगर आपके पास ड्रोन हमलों की कोई फुटेज हो तो वो आपको इनको ज़रूर प्रोवाइड करें, क्योंकि ये इस ड्रोन हमलों के ख़िलाफ़ एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बना रहे हैं जो कि जमाइमा अमेरिका में शो करेंगी और ये एक कानूनी कार्रवाई करना चाहते हैं। तो ये एक ऐसा काम कर रहे हैं जो कि आपका कॉज है। नो आई विल कम बैक टू जमाइमा। जमाइमा, Daniel Bayman of Brookings Institute says that drone strikes kill 10 civilians for every militant. We don't have the exact information whether this information is correct or not, but This is an American institute, a think tank, saying that drone attacks kill 10 civilians for 1 militant. And the United Nations Human Rights Commission also criticized these drone strikes in their special investigation report, which was presented in 2009. Then why there is no discussion on these drone attacks in UN Security Council or in European Commission or the British Parliament?
By the way, Anne Patterson also, it was revealed in the WikiLeaks cables, you'll probably remember it was revealed that she herself, the American ambassador to Pakistan, had said that drone strikes are counterproductive and are causing militancy. Well, look, why we're here, the reason why we're here is to counter the lies that are being put out. So, yes, I've read all those figures, I've also heard different figures from here, and there's, you know, those figures are hotly debated. And the reason why we're here is to counter lies on both sides. So the CIA lies that there are no civilian casualties, which we know for a fact is not true. Also the lies this end from the Pakistan government, who are saying that they haven't given permission for these drone strikes. Now, I mean, again, actually, thanks to WikiLeaks, we know that Prime Minister Gilani had said, we'll give tacit approval. This is recorded in his conversation with Anne Patterson. We'll give tacit approval to drone strikes. We'll make a fuss in the National Assembly, but we won't do anything about it, so continue. So that's another lie that needs countering.
So I would like to share our figures with you, which we have. From 2004 to 2007, there were only 9 drone attacks in Pakistan. In the year 2008, there were 33 drone attacks. In the year 2009, there were 53 drone attacks. In the year 2010, there were 118 drone attacks. And till today, 2011, there are 139 drone attacks. During the Bush regime, there were 52 drone attacks. And during the Obama regime, there are 248 drone attacks. The total is 302. And the total number of the children, kids killed in these drone attacks is about 173. And the total number of the casualties, according to the figures available with us, 2,900. And the number of the militants were less than 50. So, Clive, if you get some evidence and you can prove that in most of the drone attacks, only the children, women and innocent civilians were killed, then can you or any political party or the government of Pakistan, can they file a petition in the International Court of Justice?
Well, look, there's no question that we can do that. Of course we can, but there are many places we can do it, and we need to be broad in our thinking. So, for example, we can definitely bring cases in America, we can definitely bring cases in Europe and in Pakistan. But we need help on this. I mean, we're a charity, so we'll do it all for free, but we need help from folk here because there are specific stories, for example. I believe, from what I've seen in the photographs we've gathered, that there are 2 strategies that the CIA are using. One is that they target funerals. So, for example, they'll kill some low-level person, they think, and then anyone who shows up at the funeral, they'll fire a drone at that on the assumption that people coming to his funeral must be militants, which is crazy, obviously. But that's a hugely important, very illegal process. And another is this. You know, the whole concept of people who are good Samaritans, who go to the aid of people who have been hit by a drone missile. One of the strategies that's being used is that, you know, you hit a car, anyone who runs in to help that person, we target them. That's totally illegal. So what we want in the cases we bring are these different stories, because when you look at the Geneva Conventions and the law of war, each of those stories is tremendously helpful for us as lawyers to bring cases. But my commitment to you is certainly, and to the Pakistan people, is that we'll do all that, and we'll do it for no cost for people who have no money, who are victims. That's our job, to try to make up for what we've done as a nation to harm your people.
So the documentary of Jemima could be presented in International Court of Justice?
Well, yeah, I mean, the ICJ is actually a slightly different thing, and there it's got to be the government of Pakistan that brings it. Now, I think we need to press the government to do that litigation, but there are other international courts, the ICC, the International Criminal Court. We can certainly bring complaints there, and the UN Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial killing, these are extrajudicial killings. I mean, we're not giving these guys
But do you
trial.
agree that first of all, the government of Pakistan should raise this issue in the United Nations?
I think they certainly should. I mean, I'm not here on party politics, but I firmly, firmly believe that Pakistan has a primary duty to protect its own citizens before anything else, of course.
Okay, now we will take a break here and stay with us.